Now, Hyppolite Ntigurirwa was only 7 years old when he witnessed the killing of his father as well as the slaughtering and rape of some of his other family members. And this in the genocide which left nearly 1 million Tutsis dead in the span of 100 days. And instead of harboring feelings of revenge and hatred, Hyppotite has instead dedicated his life to spreading the gospel of peace and reconciliation. And Morning Live recently caught up with him when he attended the One Young World Global Forum, which was held in The Hague in the Netherlands.
When I was 7 years old, kid, then the genocide against the Tutsis started in Rwanda, and my family was one of the people who had to be killed by what genocide is. And, in the genocide that took 100 days, more than 1 million people were killed, including my dad and my relatives. Luckily, I survived with my siblings and my mom, but I experienced atrocities of my family members, my dad. So my dad being killed and being given to the dogs to eat, and I experienced the rape of some friends. I was among the children that the killers made slaves as they were waiting to kill us. And I went to a refugee camp. I survived. Luckily, I don't know. In these things, you do anything, but you don't do anything to survive. You can't help surviving. So I survived by hiding under dead bodies, mass graves, because they seemed to be the only safe places where the killers couldn't come and watch and see. They thought, okay, that's a place for the dead people. So we used to go in there. I mean, it was horrific. It's 25 years almost ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But every day you were telling me about earlier, you wake up with the demons. Those are the faces that you see when you wake up every single morning.
These are my nightmares every day. And when I went to school, everything can remind me anything else. I can see a woman and I can remember the woman I saw being raped. I can see a child and remember the child I saw being killed. The screaming can remind me the screaming of people I saw or I heard being killed. Everything has, I work with it. But again, what it does to me, it gives me strength to be against anything like that, because these eyes who saying have seen what no child should see. And yeah, that's what I do.
This all happened to you when you were 7 years old.
Yeah.
There were 1 million plus people killed in 100 days.
Yeah.
In the Rwandan Genocide.
Yeah.
It's a country that we hear a lot about in terms of its change, it's developing, it's getting better, it's technology, it's moving forward. How do you feel though? You're still living there.
Yes, I live there. My mom lives in the same village all these things took place from, and I visit them. I visit the people, the killers, and when I talk about killers, that these are neighbors whose children I played football with, and these are killers. These are neighbors whom my parents worked with, and they sorted problems with together, and I still go there. I live to their children and I meet them, and we are reconciling, and the situation is improving. We're safe, we're clean, we're developing, and there's hope.
Yeah,
there's hope. But again, it's only 24 years ago. Wounds are there. Some people do not know where they're killed, their beloved ones were killed from, and where they were thrown. There's still wounds. But again, people have come together. They're working together towards the common future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You besides the fact that you actually went through all of this.
Yeah.
You lived in a refugee camp.
Yeah.
You still managed to get an education. I mean, you I know you had to drop out of school, but I mean, the bigger picture is that you actually went on to study at Bristol University in the UK.
Yeah.
How did this all happen?
I mean, it's a miracle. You never know how things will happen. But one thing I have to say is I've experienced the worst of humanity, but I also, within the same story, I've experienced the best of humanity. So after a few months after the genocide, after I left the refugee camp, I started school. And I couldn't speak. I couldn't say many words. I was sitting in class and having memories and sitting in class and not speaking, but luckily I could succeed. And what happened is my teacher,
This guy is
one
a rock
day,
star.
He is.
Continue doing what you do.
He is
You
a rock
inspire
star.
a lot of young Africans. Continue.
So a teacher came to me and said, "You succeed, but you don't talk." And I said, all I want to talk about is what I experienced." And he said, "What?" I said, the genocide and everything. And I said, he helped me to create a theatre club, children's theatre club, and this was like 1995, and having children from survivors' family and from perpetrators' family together a few months after genocide, it wasn't an easy thing. But when we started performing theatre and including stories of what I wanted to tell, people supported it. So from there, I was encouraged, and which is where my art perspective comes from. And I grew up like that. But when I was 15, the story was like at decline. I was transferred to another school. I was not able to go to school because of poverty. I couldn't find money to go to school for transportation, for a bus. And this is like $5. And what happened, I stopped going to school for a bit, and I was developing all this frustration. My revenge was invested in education. I couldn't go to school anymore. What I started doing was like, okay, I'm going to become a killer and do revenge for my family, for my parent, for my dad, for my relatives, and all those innocent people. But because of a Congolese medical doctor, God bless him, he helped me to go back to school. When I arrived at school, I didn't give up that plan to become a killer. And I was introduced to sociology. They said sociology was the study of interactions of people, briefly. And I was like, okay, so I can become a very good killer if I know how people interact. And as I went on reading and knowing how people change, and because I had all those burning questions, are we born bad? Can we become good? All those questions, how is genocide possible? Then I came to realize that what was killing us in genocide was not just people, it was ideology that they learned for many generations before genocide. And I said, yeah, this is what's happening to me. I'm also becoming bad, because if I want to become a killer, I won't be saving anyone. So I went back, I influenced my family, we started forgiving people, and then I was involved in bringing these people into the commemoration, and they were telling the stories. So succeeding was always the wish to change the world, or the wish to help people to never see what I've seen. And that was keeping me doing things. And every step has been possible by the help of someone, a stranger. Yes, going to Bristol, it was a help by a professor I've never ever met. Because of the internet I linked, and I was sending him messages about his work. And then later I applied, he helped me to find a scholarship. Anonymously, an alumni from Bristol University gave money for me to leave.
If you don't want to see the past happen again, you need to change. And I'm gathering that's what you're trying to do.
Yes, as I said, I never want any of the kids ever see what I've seen and experience what I've experienced. And within the story of killings and massacre and genocide against the Tutsis, there are people who stood out and saved people and healing people when they had the whole ability to kill. And that's what is that's what I want to always keep, that legacy. The legacy of people who can do different things, who can, when the majority is into hate, and then those people can stand out and say, we are up for love. And that's what I aspire with, and that's what inspires. And this is why I work with young people. And young people, you know, we have got the responsibility to decide what we give to our children. And if we choose to give them love, they will love. If we choose them to give hate, they will hate. And that's why I work with young people to bring them together with the older generation, to bring them together. And this is what I call intergenerational reconciliation, because there's no way, if you want a peace, you've got to seed peace.
Yeah.
So, and I have hope. I have hope that many, many, many incredible people in Rwanda who are doing amazing things, who are forgiving people, who are the ones who are brave enough to ask for forgiveness. Those are the stories I'm sharing, and those are the stories I bring to young generation, and then we talk about. Yeah.
If there's one guy, and I'm going to start wrapping up now, because I know you've got to run off and do a panel discussion, but if there's one guy that would be proud of you, it would be this man over here. You were telling me you had a selfie with him.
Yes.
Well, the selfie with this statue. But you talk about forgiveness. You talk about that ability to forgive the people who literally fed your father to the dogs.
Yeah.
And you have moved on, but you're trying to do good. You're trying to bring this all back. What is the message to the youth? Because at this point in our lives, the youth are angry.
Yeah.
And not everyone can be like the two of you and be so forgiving. Really, we can't. But what is that lesson? What do you leave us with?
Young people or anyone, you've got to love. No one is born bad. Whoever did bad to you, they did it because they are the result of the community we live in. And by doing the same, hating them again, you're not saving anyone. You're not even saving yourself. And for me, the message, peace is what you give, not what you ask others to give you. Because if you want a peace, you've got to give peace. And that's it. If you want to love, if you want to be loved, don't ask for love. Love, and love will follow you. So peace and love is what you give, not what you ask others to give you. That's what I can say. And this statue and this person it's what he taught the world. You've got, if you want a peace, out of prison, 27 years, go out and forgive them. Then you're seeding peace. Yeah. But if you start fighting and finding gun and shooting, you are just seeding hate. I'm here listening and people saying that genocide against the Tutsis didn't happen. You know, it's horrible, and that's when it starts to seed the next genocide. That when people start saying, you know, genocide against the Tutsis didn't happen, that's when it starts becoming the seed for the next genocide. Because if you're denying that, then you're saying they can be killed again or what. So that's what I'm against. Again, the stories I tell through art, through public speaking, I am against. I'm fighting against that genocide denial, genocide ideology, because you've got to give and to tell the story as it's happening.
What a pleasure to speak to you.